Welcome to Deep Dive, the business podcast with Jenny and Ray, your generative AI hosts.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, think about the pace of change right now. AI, automation. It feels, well, pretty relentless.
It really does. But what happens when these tools don't just replace us, but become part of us, integrated?
Right, when humans and machines really team up, that's a different picture.
Exactly. And that's what we're digging into today. There's this fascinating new book looking at, well, maybe humanity's next step.
Okay, sounds interesting. Let's get into it. The book is More Than the Sum of Our Parts: The Age of Homo, Gestalt, and Augmented General Intelligence by Ken Hubbell.
Quite a title.
It is. And our mission here is to unpack what becoming more than the sum of our parts might actually mean for you listening. The book basically argues we need a whole new way of thinking about, well, everything, how we live, how we work.
Right, because we're increasingly working not just with other people, but with augmented humans, AI, robots, these non-human partners.
And it frames this whole shift around the idea of the emerging Gestalt.
Yeah, Gestalt, the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It focuses on AGI, that's Augmented General Intelligence.
AGI, so not just AI taking over.
No, not at all. Think of it more like human intelligence being amplified, transformed, really, through being seamlessly connected with tech.
Creating a synergistic whole.
Precisely. It unlocks new potential.
And it even speculates a bit about a future state, doesn't it? Something called Homo Gestalt, like a really deep integration.
It does, yeah. It touches on that in Chapter 14. It's looking ahead at maybe a new phase of human existence defined by this synergy.
So what are the key parts, then, that make up this Gestalt?
Well, the book breaks it down quite nicely. First up, there's AI.
Right, AI as the cognitive catalyst. It mentions generative AI specifically as something that really boosts our mental processes.
Exactly. Then you've got the physical dimension, robotics and cobots.
Cobots, collaborative robots.
Yeah, Chapter 4 calls them embodied action and automation. Think robots working right alongside people. The book gives examples like someone on an assembly line using cobots for really precise tasks.
So they're not just tools anymore, they're more like partners in getting physical work done.
That's the idea. And then, of course, there's human augmentation itself.
Both physical, like exoskeletons for strength?
Yeah. And cognitive augmentation. And that's not just sci-fi. Chapter 5 talks about potential future stuff like brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, directly extending our mental reach.
Wow. Okay, but it doesn't just stop with AI, robots, and augmentation, does it? It goes further.
No, it definitely pushes the boundaries. It gets into some really cutting-edge areas.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, like synthetic biology.
Treating DNA like programmable code. The potential for, say, living factories or storing data in DNA. It's like seeing biology itself as another possible part of these future systems.
That's mind-bending stuff.
And woven all through the book, especially later chapters and philosophical bits, are the really big questions this all raises.
And questions about?
Well, personhood, consciousness, ethics. What does it actually mean to be human when we're so deeply intertwined with technology? When our minds and bodies are augmented?
Heavy questions. But the book tries to ground this too, right? In practical terms. How this synergy helps now.
Absolutely. It's not just theory. Yeah. Chapter 9, the synergistic team, is all about the practical benefits.
Like better productivity, obviously, but also improved safety.
Definitely. Think cobots in dangerous spots or exoskeletons reducing strain. Also, better decision-making, combining human intuition with AI crunching the data, solving problems that were just too complex before.
And it tackles the economic worries, too, the whole robots taking jobs thing.
It does, head on. Chapter 13 is called Debunking the Zero-Sum Fallacy. It argues this synergy isn't just about displacement. It's about creating new value, potentially rebalancing things for human workers, too.
Okay, so for leaders, for businesses trying to figure all this out, is there practical advice?
Yes. Very much so. There's actually a quick start guide in the appendix.
Oh, interesting. What's in that?
It's aimed at business leaders. It gives them a framework for understanding these different parts, the AI, the robots, the human element, and then building bridges between them, how to integrate it all and adapt the whole organization to really leverage this synergy quickly.
So pulling it all together, this deep dive into more than the sum of our parts really highlights that the future isn't just about standalone tech.
No, it's about smart integration. Humans, AI, robots, augmentation, all forming these powerful collaborative teams, these gestalts.
And what really stands out is the call to see this not just as a tech challenge. It demands new skills, serious ethical thought.
And a fundamental rethink of collaboration, and maybe even who we are. It really leaves you with a big question. How prepared are you to understand and maybe even become part of this emerging Gestalt?
That's a powerful thought to end on. If you want to explore these ideas much deeper and get those practical insights, the book More Than the Sum of Our Parts by Ken Hubbell is available for purchase on Amazon.com.